Hey, Rich. It's Corey. I just wanted to say thank you very much for having me on the podcast. It was a great time. Always good talking a little AEW, our new CEO, and I thought it was a really cool conversation. I really appreciate how long you gave me to talk. I never thought you were going to give me 30 minutes to give my points of view. Really do appreciate it. So I don't know if what happened afterwards was a test or like a hazing thing, but and I don't want to come across as ungrateful, but your uncle, who I met a long time ago through Chris and Sean, he seems like a really good dude, but he brought up this idea, and I don't know, like I said, if this was just something to see if I was snitch, and I apologize, but just felt weird. But you may want to be careful because he wants to do some sort of like invasion storyline where I go and make a little bit fun of your podcast. And, I felt a little weird about it, but I really think you should, take a deep look. I know he's family. I don't want to upset anything, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. It sounds like he wants to take over the show in a way. And if this is, something that you guys have planned, that's awesome. And, it'd be really interesting to be a part of, but it didn't sound like it was, oh, we're just going to go and make a little fun here. It sounded like he wanted to take the show away from you. So if this was a test that I failed, I apologize, and I appreciate you letting me on the show this one time, but really appreciate you guys having me on, and hopefully I didn't step on any toes here.
In a long time, my friend.
It has. It has. It has.
Yes.
And beyond everything else, I know you just heard the message from Corey. I know you just heard what I had to say. But beyond everything else, my friend, I'm sorry that I had to put you through that hell for 3 months. But I wanted to see if you would have been like Mr. 411 and ran with the triple C. You did it. You stayed loyal. And my friend, I appreciate you and I thank you for that. But once more, I'm sorry because I sat and I watched. Damn, peeps, you went through hell.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me twice on that. I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
But look, fear not. Daddy's back home. Same as back where it belongs, with the people. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we're here to give you laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. Am I right, peeps?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 3 tenets, can't do it without a great Saturday afternoon. So there you go. There you go.
Absolutely right. You are absolutely right, my friend. So look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, once more, welcome to Saturday afternoon's main event. We're here to give you laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. You know that you can go ahead and follow us on these 3 platforms: Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. If you want to go ahead and follow us on Instagram, you can go ahead and follow us at Saturday Afternoons _ main event, on Twitter at Saturday Main, and if you want to follow us on TikTok, you can follow us at Saturday Afternoons ME. But look, peeps, beyond everything else, we know that when we have to start off a Saturday Afternoons main event, and you hear this, it means it's time for one thing and one thing only. Am I right, my friend?
Yes, it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 months, I get to play this video and be happy with it. It is time for
Wrestling Crash Course.
This feels so comfy right now to be.
Oh.
It feels great.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, look. First order of business today. Peeps, Cody KO ladder match. Of course, we heard on SmackDown this past Friday night from Nick Aldis, from Cody Rhodes, from Kevin Owens, that at the Royal Rumble, the undisputed Universal title and the Winged Eagle will be up 20 feet in the air, hanging from a rope, in a match where you had to climb the ladder and retrieve both titles. Peace. I think we know where this is going, right?
Yes.
I think it's time for a new Universal title, right? I think it's time for a new WWE Championship.
Yes, and I think it will incorporate the Winged Eagle within the great design of that WWE Championship. So yeah, I think that's where they're headed.
Oh, you are absolutely right, and I can't wait. But the thing is that, look, I haven't gotten to speak on this. Cody and KO, within everything that the WWE universe, the wrestling universe, everything within the IWC, they've been speaking and they've been saying, oh, Cody hasn't had a good reign as of late. I think they're wrong, because this feud right here, shall I say it's phenomenal?
Go on ahead.
What are your thoughts within this whole match and this feud as a whole?
First of all, the fact that they added the added part of the realism of what happens when you add, take some notes with this, a banned move that is treated as such, and then the subsequent injuries that follow, and the fact that, as I've talked about on the show before, when you have a character that is aggrieved, that feels aggrieved, and they explain their side of the story, which makes sense, the protagonist has to then go against the antagonist. And if they make just as equal a point that their side is to be believed, that is when you have conflict. And when that conflict is met on camera, that is where you make magic. And then you play within the gray areas to try to fill everything out, and then let the fans decide who's right, who's wrong. And that's the reason why this feud works. And this feud is hitting differently than some of the others that Cody has been in. I'm thoroughly enjoying the build for this.
Oh yes, you're absolutely right. But peeps, so I guess we're gonna say that Cody Rhodes is gonna be winning back both titles at the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Right? Early prediction.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, that was the first piece of wrestling news. The next piece, WWE is discussing another WrestleMania match. Of course, I heard that piece of no good trailer park trash, the Triple C, talk about it last week when it pertained to CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Well, guess what? I have 2 matches. So you see, Uncle, whatever you can do, I can do better ×2. Now look, first match consists of John Cena and Cody Rhodes for the WWE title, as per what we've been hearing. The other match also consists of John Cena, and they want to go and put him against Logan Paul. Now, Pete, hearing these 2 matches and hearing the thoughts for WrestleMania, knowing that even prior to my leave of absence, I should say, we spoke about all the different factors. We spoke about how even I believe that the best case scenario for WrestleMania was Cody and Randy Orton.
Yes.
Cena and Gunther, and Roman and The Rock. But now, after everything that has been happening, we're kind of going ahead and hearing all these different moves only because of one simple person, the sort of Damocles, as we should say. The Rock, possibly not being at the shows. Now, look, peeps, within all of these things going on, Cena versus Cody, is that the match that you'd be willing to see? Is that something that you would want to see? I know Logan Paul and John Cena isn't on our list.
No.
So we can go ahead and disapprove of that and just keep that out of the way. But is Cody and Cena something that we should be into?
Cody and Cena could work if they do this generationally, and knowing Cody is trying to uphold the Rhodes name, trying to go in and trying to distance himself from Roman Reigns and the bloodline, kind of what he's been trying to do since he won the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 40. Cena, we all know 2025 is the John Cena retirement tour. He's going to be last time in Toronto, last time at WrestleMania, last time at it's going to be a series of lasts. And that's what's going to happen. We know going forward that if they're going to have Cena in any matches that are interesting, one of them would have to be Cody. And the main reason is he going to break that tie for having the most championships in the history of WWE's recognized title reigns? Will that be the case? Will he win 17? I think that's a story that they're going to chase with Cena. And the question is, does he do it against Cody? How does that make the match, and how do the fans receive it? I think that could be done, but I think the money match that most people are looking for is Cody versus Roman, number 3. Run that.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's only my first week back, and here Peeps goes with these thoughts.
Yes.
Cody Roman 3. You think now's the time for it to be done?
I don't know if it's going to happen, but I can tell you one thing. I think that's where the money would be.
Really? Okay. Well, that's a thought from the Peace Snakes, ladies and gentlemen. Cody Roman 3. Wow. To think that we'd already hit this trilogy now. That's insane. Wow, that's a good one, peeps. That's a good one.
Yes.
We'll go ahead and talk back in that maybe in weeks to come. But look, from here we move to the world of All Elite Wrestling. All right. As per John Alba, glorious John Alba of SNY, peeps, you and I are both Mets fans.
Yes.
Alongside that piece of trash called the Triple C. I can't even call it.
Yeah.
In the words of the Iron Sheik, poof. End the story.
Yes.
But as per John Alba of SNY, after getting on a media call with Tony Khan before World's End tonight, we hear that Tony Khan is going to be spearheading AEW Creative going into 2025. The fact that all of this happens on the time that I return, it's like the wrestling world knew I would be in for a rant. I'm not going to do that to you guys, ladies and gentlemen. It's the first show back. I think it's better for me to be relaxed. But let me just say this, peeps. I've sat and I've watched and I've seen AEW and I've seen what they've been able to do. I've seen what they've accomplished. Everything from the Death Riders to, Orange Cassidy and Jay White to Kyle Fletcher to whatever Ricochet's doing right now, which is a laughing stock.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, he's been getting cooked.
So you make him look like a heel just to be dogged out by Swerve and the Hurt Syndicate? Not my business. I digress.
There you go.
Oh, wow. That's perfect one.
Yes.
This is beyond me. Amazing.
Yes.
Phenomenal. This is great. We're
there
going back into our place, peeps. This is great. This is great.
Yes.
But look, back to it, right? So within everything that's been going on, one of the craziest things happened. And I sit there and I look at it and I'm like, so you're gonna mean to tell me that Tony's gonna be spearheading something within the lines of Ricochet doing half-ass-ish, Kyle Fletcher doing what he's doing, but seeming like he's some type of 2009 great value version of Randy Orton.
Yeah.
And then the ratings prove that all of this is just a whole bunch of BS. Because why? We have ratings for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Peeps,
Yes.
I just want you to point out 1 sense of the ratings for AEW, because I think the numbers for Collision will shock many. What was the number that they drew this past weekend?
672,000 people watched Collision on Saturday.
Now, Peeps, we know college football has a lot to do with that. Understandable.
Yes.
Yeah. But now, Peeps, I just want to know, how much did Dynamite drew?
Dynamite did 574,000.
The fact that Collision beat Dynamite. Tony Khan, give up. Give up. Just go. Pack your shit and go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Saturday afternoon's main event. Look, we're gonna go ahead and take it up a notch. This is me being for real. Tony Khan, are you kidding me? After years of you shoving Dynamite down our throats, after you guys couldn't hack a million, after a good how many months of going ahead and doing a mill, you guys couldn't hack it no more. You guys haven't been able to hack 900,000, but we give you grace. Now, Dynamite isn't even pulling in 600,000, and Collision, a show that you made strictly for CM Punk. Now that CM Punk's not even in the company no more, mind you, you guys couldn't even hack 300,000 with Rampage, and Rampage just had its last show last night. Rampage is done for. So now you mean to tell me that Collision is drawing more than your flagship show? Peeps, what do you have to say about this?
I think, not to necessarily say to dance on the grave of Rampage, I think it belies the fact that AEW has a lot of problems that are more than just superficial creative things. First and foremost, as I've said this before, and I will give this caveat to what's happening with AEW. True, they have a tremendously deep roster of wrestlers that rivals any other company. Probably some can say that they have one of the best rosters if you're looking on a pure talent basis. Wrestler for wrestler, very good, very deep talent roster. But they've also been hit with a lot of injuries. We know that a lot of injuries have happened. MJF was on the show for a while and came back recently after going to Hollywood. We know Adam Copeland has gotten coming off of an injury at some point. I would assume within the next few weeks will probably be ready to go after he broke his leg. We know that Adam Cole got hurt and he came off of an injury. And then, of course, we go from the injury aspect to the guys that have just been in catering. You know, the Ricky Starks of the world, and having Big Bill, who did not need to be part of a faction that makes no sense, part of a faction and is being lost in the sauce, so to speak. So there are a lot of creative decisions that Tony Khan has made, along with whoever else he has in his creative meeting, is not making much sense. And what we're seeing with the Death Riders faction and what they plan on doing and what they're doing now, it's not hitting the way it should have if this was done the right way. And I think that's what's killing AEW right now as we speak. The Continental Championship, that tournament that I loved last year, that they've run back, still good. But they need more than that. I'm glad that Dynamite focused more on those tournament matches, because that in and of itself was the storyline. But it's the other ancillary storylines that are building to the main storyline that are having a lot of loopholes, so to speak. They've got to clear that up.
You're absolutely right, Peeps. You're absolutely right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Saturday afternoon's main event. Of course, I, the Phenomenal One, alongside me is the Peeps Nate, here to give you laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. Just be sure to go ahead and make sure to follow us on Instagram at Saturday Afternoons_main event, on Twitter at Saturday Main, and on TikTok at Saturday Afternoons ME. But ladies and gentlemen, this marks the end of the first half of saying this marks the end of Wrestling Crash Course. When we come back from break, we will go ahead and get into our questions, which peeps I know for a fact you're going to be happy about. And then the last topic for today are predictions for tonight's World's End. So stay tuned. Do not go anywhere because the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event is coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the season premiere of Saturday afternoon's main event. Of course, I, the phenomenal one, alongside the Peep Snake. Give you lots of good times and all the wrestling news possible.
I get to drink without being chastised. How about that?
Right now, I mean, good grief, Peeps. I'm really sorry for the hurt I caused you the last 3 months. The fact that you couldn't even drink.
Yes.
A dictator. Good grief.
Yes.
This makes great to not even have to worry about that dead carcass on our show.
No more red pill, blue pill stuff. We can just give you all the laughs, the good times, and all the wrestling news possible every Saturday afternoon. Let's go.
Right. You're absolutely right. And guess what? Yo, uncle, if you're listening, nephew, got it. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, to go ahead and continue on with our onslaught of a great show here on Saturday afternoon's main event, we're going to go ahead and get into our questions. Now, look, if you want to go ahead and send in a question, all you got to do is one thing and one thing only. DM us on Instagram at Saturday afternoons_main event. Send in the question, DMs. Be sure to go ahead and send it in because if you do, it will be on the next episode of the show. So, peeps, without further ado, first question, right? Master Sean 007, he says, greetings, gentlemen, and Happy New Year to all. Happy New Year to you too, Master Sean. He says, first, is TNA making a big mistake booking big arenas again? Secondly, Brian Last from the Jim Cornette podcast has been saying for years that Tony Khan will eventually put the heavyweight belt on Orange Cassidy. What would be the impact of that decision if it does happen? Peeps, you want to take this question?
Okay. I'll go with the first one, which is TNA booking bigger arenas. I'm not sure what TNA, as far as what they consider big. Is it 7,500? Is it 10,000? Is it 5,000? TNA right now, their business is doing much better. They're getting attention as far as the wrestling media goes, as far as fans like us, fans that watch the show, people that have the curiosity of seeing alternatives to AEW and WWE, especially with the connection that the WWE has done with TNA as far as the talent exchanges going back and forth as far as the Royal Rumble and seeing Jordan Grace come in and seeing Joe Hendry come in and we believe in Joe Hendry. All of that. Exactly. And even having JBL show up.
Oh, yes.
And just those little things in the shows brings that attention to TNA. So as they get more attention, they're going to be tempted to go to bigger arenas. I would caution that right now, unless they have some sort of analytics that we're not privy to, that shows that they are showing growth within wanting to have eyeballs in and 18 inches a seat, a chair, a fanny in every seat. If they think that they have those down, then yes, they can start to go ahead and do that. But I think find out what your average is at house shows and the pay-per-views. And if you think you need to do 10% more business, 15% more business, do that without breaking the bank.
Yes.
I'm as far as the second question, as far as Orange Cassidy goes, I know Orange Cassidy has been an AEW original. We know he's been around for quite a while. And I think that his gimmick kind of sullies a lot of any of the things that he wants to do or can do or the credibility of saying he can be more than he is. He had a really good run with the International Championship, which we will not besmirch because a lot of his matches were really good. A lot of his matches weren't. His gimmick precedes him. So I think that's part of the problem. But to put the world title on him, I thought about what it would look like. I don't know if that's where they would go. I would say that Darby Allin being world champion would happen way before Orange Cassidy. That's what I would see.
I second that. Well, perfect, Peeps. Perfect. Well,
yeah.
Match on 007. Hopefully, Peeps hit the question to the best of his abilities. From there, we move to the next question. It comes from Tombstone City Adam. He says, ending the last same of the year with P1 back is something I didn't think we needed. What have you been doing for 3 months, man? Just been sitting here doing phenomenal one things. Not too much. Not too much on me. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand. You guys will have a lot of questions. Everything will be getting to in good time. Currently, we're good on the show. Let's just focus on the show. Yes. Everything else will be answered because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I got time. Ain't nobody can kick me off this show. This mine. This is me. This is the phenomenal one. Nothing about no triple C. No additives needed either. Ladies and gentlemen, from there, we move to the next one. It says, Long Island Isaiah. He says, finally, what took you so long? I caught FUs for you, man. Jokes aside, glad to have you back, phenomenal one.
Yeah, the fans took a lot of strays. I tell you that. That's for sure.
Good grief. Well, I'm here, okay? I'm sorry about that. Look, I'm sorry to everyone who had to catch strays. It's not me.
Yes.
It's not me. I had to do this just for the sake of humanity itself, for nothing else. In the words of Vince McMahon, he would say business. For me, I would just say for all of mankind. That makes sense? Okay.
Yes.
Next one comes from Hot Rod 316. He says, Jacob, I love you, Solo. Fatu is a rising star. Who would you like him to face at the grandest stage of them all? That's a good question. Peace.
Yes.
Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental title.
That would be great. That would really be great.
I've been thinking about it.
That would definitely be a big, meaty men slapping meat type match. Yes. I tell you one thing. I don't know. I think people have kind of seen this groundswell over the last 6 months since Jacob has been in the company. But have you noticed how organic the fans have attached themselves to him? Yes. Anything that he does well. He sells great. He's perfect as far as in the ring. He is an absolute beast when it comes to doing split-legged moonsaults and doing acai DDTs and all the other crazy stuff that he's been doing. And at the same time, the fans organically have shifted to him. And they are looking for a big payoff with him and somebody, whether it's down the road against Solo, whether it's a match against Roman, whether he gets a crack at Cody or Braun Breaker. Personally, I would like to see him in a match with Sheamus, just to see what kind of debauchery they would do to each other in a ring, because there would be bruises and all kinds of teeth missing and clotheslines and elbows. The sky is the limit with this guy. And I cannot wait to see what they do with him, especially the way he sells. When we were all watching the War Games and he sold the injury when he wasn't hurt, just to take the attention off of him so they could get to the finish without him being there. That is the mark of somebody that can read the room and tell what's going on. That's the reason why Jacob Fatu is a star, and that's the reason why he's going to have a huge 2025, in my opinion.
Of course. But, peeps, I think we've noticed it with Jacob for a good amount of time. I think SummerSlam was the first time around that we noticed that he was a good seller. Because remember that? I think it was that frog splash.
Oh, yes.
He did for the top rope on the Cody Rhodes. And he sold as if he fractured his shin.
Yes.
And he started wearing a walking boot, even though he was out here still going ahead and hitting Samoan slams.
And super kicking folks with the boot on. Yes.
listen, if this man isn't world champion by the next 2 years, WWE is doing something wrong. Because this, as much as it is, long live the great Umaga. But something about Jacob Fatu is even more dangerous than any other Samoan. I kid you not. So for me, I see Jacob Fatu versus Braun Breaker at a WrestleMania. But if anything else, if the man is not world champion within the next 2 years, I'm calling BS.
Yes, he is special.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Very, very special. Very, very special. Jared Legarian here. He's like, let's go. Welcome back. Thank you. Pat Legarian. What? It's great when you have family going ahead and welcoming you back. Real family. You know, people who don't stab you in the back. Isn't this great, peeps? I mean, perfect. Hot Rod, who are these black people on the screen? I miss you. I missed you too. This was great. And then, of course, wait, what? What in the blue?
Oh, good grief.
Okay. We have enough time. The fact that you have the fortitude to sit here and still come onto this show and spew BS like that is complete, utter fuckery. Screw you, Christopher Morton. Screw you. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, this is Saturday afternoon's main event. I had a phenomenal one. Alongside me is the Peeps Snakes. We're here to give you laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. Ladies and gentlemen, this marks the end of our questions. Once more, we enjoy them. You want to send in another one, all you got to do is one thing and one thing only. DM us on Instagram at Saturday_main event. Send in a question that will be featured on the next episode of the show. And this is why I love our people, the people who stay loyal to us, because Hot Rod initially goes ahead and claps back. This is perfect. I don't even see. They're handling my light work for me. This is what you call fans and people who are actually behind you.
Yes.
Screw ratings. This is perfect. This is great.
Yes. There you go.
Look, before anything else, we're going to go ahead and get to our last topic for today. Of course, AEW World's End, which is taking place this weekend. Peeps, it's a stacked show, 11 matches. We're expecting the best of the best from AEW, being that this is the last live event, PLE, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it. It is the last event of the year, wrestling-wise, up until Monday Night Raw the week after, and then we move to Netflix literally in 2 weeks, peeps.
Yes. And think about it. Think about this. This is the last pay-per-view in the pre-Max era, because starting January 1st, they're going to be
on Max.
Yes, it's going to be simulcast Max and on TNT TBS.
You know how great it is to know that I won't have to pay for cable no more when it comes to oh God, what did this happen? Yo, if this was back when I was at least 5, I could have afforded every single WWE pay-per-view.
Yes.
I digress, but it's okay. It's okay.
There you go.
At least we get to have it now, right, peeps?
Yes.
So look, here's the thing. We're going to go ahead and get into AEW here with the whole card. Peeps, look, as from what I'm seeing, the first match on our screen is one pre-show match.
Yes.
A returning Toni Storm going up against Layla Gray. Peeps, of course, do we have to get into it? Book me down for Toni Storm.
Yes. It would be kind of weird to see Toni Storm lose on the pre-show of a pay-per-view.
Exactly. The fact that she's even getting booked on the pre-show of a pay-per-view.
Yes.
So, look, I believe this goes ahead and begins something good for the original character, Toni Storm. No longer timeless, but I can see a rematch against Mariah May within the next couple of months. Possibly in the first PLE of the year if they're not stupid enough to book this on live TV. But look, Toni Storm for the win here. Second match, Jeff Jarrett versus QT Marshall.
You think Jarrett is going to try and is going to pull this one out, considering that they've basically the last really good push that they gave Jeff Jarrett was his kind of that mini feud that they did with him on Collision. I believe it was with Yeah,
the
it
one
was.
with Paige, right?
Yeah, with Paige, exactly. Yeah,
The one
yeah.
with Paige. That's the closest thing. Look, with what they've been doing with QT Marshall, because I had to sit here and watch while I was away. I had to sit here and watch Big Justice bring the boom
Yes.
to QT Marshall. As much as I would expect that he's gonna have his rebound here, it's another pre-show match. I think they've really made QT Marshall into a jobber. And it's
Yeah.
such a say when I have to bring up the name of JEFFJARRETT. Haha.
There
The
you go.
fact that I have to bring it up when it comes to Jeff Jarrett is insane because Jeff Jarrett is a huge commodity in this business for what he's done and what he's brought to the wrestling industry.
Yes.
But as much as I have to say, I think Jeff Jarrett's going to win this match.
Yes. And it's not like he's washed up. He still can go, which is kind of weird. He can still go.
Obviously. Which is not a bad thing. Oh,
Yes.
wow. See, before we even go ahead and continue with it, the brotherly love, so to speak. Uncle Triple C is an a-hole. Welcome back, Phenomenal One. Why, thank you. I appreciate it. So much for that brother of yours, right? Please.
Wow.
Anywho, third match. The Outrunners, Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd, and Top Flight Darius and Dante Martin going up against Leo Rush, Action Andretti, Murder Machines. Peace.
Yeah. It's interesting that they built the Outrunners, which was pretty much a throwaway jobber team. And as I've said before, the fans have gotten behind them. I don't know at what point it started within the last 2 months, but I think the association with FTR helped legitimize their tendencies of being over. The fans have gotten behind them and have stayed behind them. And I think that whatever the issue is or whatever it is doing right now, it's organic. And I would not be surprised if the Outrunners and Top Flight end up winning this match.
I absolutely got them on my list too, Peeps, because I feel like with the way that they've been booked and the way that the people have gotten behind them as well, I think for a fact that they end off their 2024 with a bang just to begin 2025 with more of a push. So
Yes.
Give me the Outrunners and give me Top Flight winning this 8-man tag.
Their popularity is on par today with what the Acclaimed were last year.
Yes.
And that's saying a lot.
You're absolutely right, Peeps. No, you're absolutely right. I agree with that wholeheartedly, 100%. From that match, we move to obviously the first match within this card that is actually going to be on the main show.
Yes.
Crazy enough. Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. Peeps, give me Fletcher.
You got Fletcher?
I got Fletcher.
I've got Ospreay.
You got Ospreay.
I've got Ospreay.
For me, I sit there and I look at it. Like I said, I hate what they're doing with him
Mm-hmm.
because it really makes it feel like the 2009 Evolution version of Randy Orton. So watered down to the point where it's just like, okay, the gimmick is great and all, but bro, come on, any originality, something new, something that I can go ahead and be in tune with. I like
as long as he's not stabbing anyone in the head with a screwdriver, I'm good. You know?
Don Callis, that's too. Let me not. But yes, for me, I sit there and I'm like, I think it comes down to something where this grows even more within Ospreay and Fletcher's feud. Because of course, being with what we had before in the matches that they had prior, especially to the point of Kyle cutting his hair and saying, "I'm nothing like you," and all that kind of good stuff. I'm thinking this is going to be that show-stealing type of match. But beyond anything else, I do think that Fletcher's going to be walking out with as the winner here.
Okay.
You know, within the first semifinal. I know you said that you have Ospreay, so we can see how that fares out. Next match, Kaz Okada and Ricochet.
Yes. Everybody's favorite Irish wrestler, Rick O'Shea. There you go.
Peeps, why he bald? I just had to. No, because honestly, as much as it is, I just can't stand him now. I don't know, like, it's not even go home. Like, should it be go home heat? I think it is go home heat. I just can't. It's like seeing Chris Jericho on my screen in 2024. Now you see why there's certain people who you don't give a microphone to in this industry. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Give me Kaz Okada.
Okay, you got Kaz. Okay.
Give me Kaz Okada.
Okay.
I think you're gonna go ahead and go with Ricochet here.
I think what they're building right now, one of two things. If they're going to go the extreme New Japan in America final for a championship, then Kaz and Osprey makes sense. If they're going to go with we're building Ricochet as a jewel piece for a potential run in a feud or in a potential run with the Hurt Syndicate, because I think they've been teasing that kind of, sort of. I have a feeling that Ricochet is going to end up winning this one. I think that's where they're going because they want to have that third match between Osprey and Ricochet on the pay-per-view. We know the first match that they had, Konosuke Takeshita interfered. The second match that they had, they just ran back during the tournament last week. This is going to be the rubber match. I think that's where they're going with this. I think that's what's going to happen with Ricochet winning this
one. So you honestly think it's a trilogy? Okay.
Yes.
No problem. Okay, so before we even get to the other match, I think we could just go ahead and get to the finals of this match. So
yes,
your thoughts of saying Osprey versus Ricochet, who do you have going over?
I think it has to go with Osprey. I think Ricochet will eventually win that championship, but I think that is going to be Osprey in the fact that they're going to get Osprey. If this goes down, you're going to see Osprey twice on the same card. I think that's what will be the case as far as that championship match.
Okay. For me, I'll go ahead and go with Kaz Okada, retaining. That will just be me. That one honestly just be me. So from there, we move to the singles match for the AEW International Championship. Konosuke Takeshita versus Powerhouse Hobbs. And in what universe does Konosuke Takeshita not retain? I'm going with Takeshita.
Yes.
Peeps, is there anything else different from your end?
I think Takeshita is going to win, but barely. I think that Takeshita right now is doing well holding that championship, and I don't think that the international championship is something that's going to be moved around a lot. I think this is going to be, in the eyes of Tony Khan, their workhorse championship along with that TNT title. I think that's what they're doing with this. So if that's going to be the case, then yes. But Hobbs needs to have a belt. I've been saying this for a couple of years now. We know he was injured. He needs to have gold going into 2025.
I agree here. I agree. We'll see what they have planned for him. Hopefully it is that international championship.
Yes.
Now, I think the bill behind the international title means so much. It reminds me so much of a IC title currently, which I mean, that is what it pretty much is. But you know what? I digress. But still,
there you go.
I have Takeshita going ahead and winning here. Next match, a Tijuana street fight for the AEW Women's World Championship. Mariah May versus Thunder Rosa.
Yes.
Is there gonna be anything else but Thunder Rosa? Please stop it, guys. I'm kidding. Mariah May for the win here.
Yes.
I thought I was gonna be going with Thunder. Please, come on, guys. We know that Toni Storm versus Mariah May the second time around is gonna be that money match. We're not worried about anything else. If they were to have Thunder Rosa win now, it would have just been like, yo, Tony, your booking decisions really genuinely suck. But,
especially if they can stall this feud with Mariah May and Toni Storm for Grand Slam, which is going to be in Australia in February.
Yes.
There you go.
Peeps. Now you're talking.
There you go.
Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Saturday afternoon's main event, the phenomenal one, alongside the Peep Snakes, here to give you last good times on all the wrestling news possible. If you're just tuning in, as you can see on the screen, we're sitting here giving our predictions for World's End, which is taking place this week. We are on our 7th match, into our 8th. It is the singles match for the AEW Dynamite Diamond Ring. Peace.
Why are they having a match for a ring?
A year.
Why? I understand. Yes.
As much as it is, it's for a ring, which is just stupid. But you know what? This is a year in the making.
Yes.
A year in the making. Because, peeps, if we remember last year, World's End, we got the anticlimactic, I should say, ending.
Yes.
The story of MJF and Adam Cole.
Yes.
Adam Cole being the devil, being the one leading the Undisputed Kingdom to go against MJF, all while MJF had already lost his AEW World title. Now, the tables are turned. MJF is once again the heel, and Adam Cole is the face. Peeps, what the heck? What type of Matrix BS did we go? I don't care. MJF wins. Do I even have to continue? Peeps, like,
I guess it's going to depend on what MJF is going to be doing Hollywood wise. Because if he's going to be off of TV for a while, then I think that it's going to be Cole winning. But as far as this whole Dynamite Diamond ring, it definitely fits MJF. That's where it's going to go. It's going to stay with MJF.
Okay. No
but
problem.
This is the creative of Tony Khan. That ring, because it's supposed to mean so much to MJF, is why it's on the line. But the other stuff that's there, MJF does as best as he can to sell this feud. Cole has done as best as he could to retort. But over a ring, if you told me they were going to stick them in a cage and that was going to be it, then that makes perfect sense. Because the pay-per-view is called World's End. That would have been it. That would have been good. You got a cage match on this year-end pay-per-view between two people that have hated each other's guts, and there is a built-in story between them hating each other's guts to then respecting each other, being a tag team, to main eventing in London, to coming back here, to turning on each other, to come back to the main event, to go to this. That would have been the story to end it.
They could have done so much with this.
Yes.
But the fact that all we got was pretty much MJF going ahead and giving the, I heard you probably have a sweet tooth or a cavity. Because it seems like you're not cool with your dentist no more. The fact that that's what we have to go ahead and associate with this feud, after what they could have built for the last how many months? Since Double or Nothing?
Yes.
Give me a break.
I'll digress on that one. But
exactly.
MJF.
That has to be a record for the last 3 months, right?
We've got 4 in this one shot. And in the last 3 months, I believe we've done, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've done 9 in the previous 11 weeks. We got 4 today.
Sad. You know what?
Yes.
Put it this way, peeps. Let's not even worry about that. We have 2 more matches to go on this card. Mercedes Moné, Chris Statlander, AEW TBS Championship. Of course, we know Camille is no longer in Mercedes Moné's corner, but I think this is going to be the match that goes ahead and shows that Moné probably doesn't need anybody to go ahead and win for her. This is going to be Moné's coming out party. I'm really behind Mercedes Moné at this time around, although it has been a lackluster somewhat year with Mercedes Moné at the helm. I think she has to go ahead and begin showing the world what she truly is made of, because it's not like she's that bad of a women's professional wrestler. I think it's just because she associates herself with Camille, and the fact that throughout the story, even through some of her matches, she has bought some of the moves. People have shown that they're not even interested in what she is going ahead and promoting herself as a champion. But I think this is where she puts her money where her mouth is, and she begins to show the world to eat dirt. Mercedes Moné is on my card for winning this match.
Of course. I think Moné is going to win this one. What I have, here's the problem. The problem is that the Statlander Willow Nightingale friendship is something that is in the foreground behind this. Yeah. And Statlander has been trying to get to Willow, so, we've had to talk. A lot of things have happened between now and in the last few months. And then there's been kind of a tectonic shift in the way that they've portrayed Chris Statlander. So I think that has something to do with it. Moné is going to win the match, but I think that this is going to be a further development with what happens with Chris Statlander. And I would not be surprised if Willow showed up either in support or maybe in the background to watch the match to see what's going on and see how she goes through going forward. I think that's where that's going to be.
I got you. Okay, understandably so. Last match, peeps, the Fatal 4-Way, or should I just say 4-Way match? That's what they usually call it in other territories.
Yeah,
but
so the 4-way dance.
Yeah, the 4-Way dance, right? Moxie, of course, head of the Death Riders, who is the AEW World Champion, against Orange Cassidy, against Hangman Adam Page, against Jay White. Give Give me Jay White for the. I'm kidding, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been carrying this story through and through for the last year, and it's kind of what it's been. We've been hearing rumblings about certain people joining AEW. We've been hearing all these different types of other things, and peeps, I think this is where the culmination is. I think this is where we get our defining moment. Jon Moxley wins this match because, of course, when it comes to being more than threes, it's gonna be no DQ, I believe, right, peeps? So look,
I believe so. Yes.
In this sense, the Death Riders are gonna go ahead and help Jon Moxley retain the AEW World Championship alongside another new face. Ladies and gentlemen, today, exactly at 12:55 Eastern Time, the Phenomenal One will go ahead and give off that maybe most likely after this match, or maybe on the next episode of Dynamite, or somewhere within the next couple of months. I'm really thinking that it happens tonight, though, because it's no way that it couldn't happen any other night. Shane McMahon will make his debut on AEW.
So you're feeling that filling in of who's ahead has got to be done. It had to have been done sooner or later.
Exactly. I think that it has to happen this time around because we've sat there and we've been trying to listen to Moxley speaking in tongues for the last how many months?
Yes.
And from the moment that we heard, this is not your company anymore, we should have sat there and said to ourselves, okay, there's a nail on the coffin, Shane McMahon. We know what it is. We know what it's going to be. It has to be, right? This is what it comes down to. Final pay-per-view of the year. This is what it has to be. I think this is where the culmination begins tonight. I think Shane McMahon being a part of the Death Riders, going ahead and showing that they're taking over AEW within that sense of an invasion angle, all of that has to go ahead and be shown tonight. I think that that's how it happens. But give me Moxley winning and retaining the AEW World Title.
Yes. And because I think that the believability, nobody looks at Moxley and looks at his character as somebody that is some sort of Mensa member that is, he's playing chess while everybody's playing checkers. He comes across as a pawn or a soldier for a general.
Exactly.
The question is, who's the general and who's running the entire playbook? And I think today, because it's World's End, and this is the beginning of something new for AEW, hence what I said earlier about Max, the simulcast of Max on the 1st of January. Remember, they haven't shown the AEW World Title belt. It's been in that suitcase for the last 2 or 3 months. So something has got to give.
Exactly. And I think it gives tonight. It has to, right? Okay.
Of course.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, within the last 57 minutes, we came, we showed up, we came in, we saw, and we conquered, we delivered. We definitely did that, right, peeps?
Yes.
And this marks the end of Saturday afternoon's main event. So look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we'll be here next week for sure. I'll have more to speak on. Like I said, I have time. But I just want you to know that please, and this is not to anybody else, but Uncle Triple C. Uncle, I just want you to know this. When you lay your head down on that pillow every single night and you try to figure out what went wrong and how did this all come to be, how did your plan get foiled? How am I back here doing this better part-time, better than you could ever do it full-time? I just want you to remember that the Phenomenal One always wins. See you next week for episode 2. It is I, the Phenomenal One.
And I, the Peeps Nate, where we came,
we saw.
And in the words of the great Paul Heyman,
bring it home, peeps!
We conquered.
We conquered. Ladies and gentlemen, see you next week. It's the Phenomenal One. It's the Peeps Nate. It's Saturday afternoon's main event. Peace! Love! Farewell.
Yeah.